Hello and welcome to Walker Tea Review. I'm Jason Walker. We're looking at teas. We're tasting teas together. We are enjoying, appreciating the many subtleties of what teas can offer. Loose leaf teas, unflavored, as in no teas with no added extra flavors to them. Sometimes organic, sometimes pu'ers. So we branch out. We get a little unique. Today we've got a nice oolong that we're going to be looking at. So let's go ahead and talk about this tea, get it going, go through a tea tasting process, and which involves, one of the things is this time will be a gaiwan. Gaiwan is a traditional Chinese style of preparation, which is appropriate for a Chinese style tea and particularly appropriate for this kind of tea. Let's get this regular old average everyday teaspoon out. Scoop out, because this is a oolong, because these leaves are rolled up pretty tightly, and when you steep them they're going to open up. We're doing about see if that'll stay. Yeah, that's going to flatten out and be covering up a teaspoon as best you can with these bulky type of leaves. So we've got that in there. I'm going to close that up for just a moment. We will be coming back to talk about that. The water's been brought to a boil. It's only been allowed to cool for about 30 seconds, so it's still very close to a boiling temperature. Let's go ahead and slowly pour that in. Let that kind of swirl around a little bit. There we go. Now we're pouring enough water so that when your lid goes on, ideally a little water, just a little bit of water, will stick out over that top. And that creates kind of a nice little seal there. Alright, that should be good. That will actually kind of expand because those leaves in there are compact, and as they loosen up, they take up more space. They'll push on that. It's already doing it here. Let's get this water out of the way. Set this to the side ever so carefully, because that's starting to it's on the verge of overflowing. I'm actually going to kind of open that up a little bit. Let that water seep back down in there, and that should still give us a pretty good seal. It's already starting to expand again. So while we're doing that, let's talk a little bit about teas. If you want to join us for a tea tasting, right up above, green button, join a tea tasting. You'll find out about future episodes and the teas that we're going to be tasting. You'll find out about equipment, where you can get equipment like gaiwans, like electric tea kettles. Another thing that we want to note is oolongs, like this kind that we're looking at today, also often are paired well and kind of enhance or are enhanced by a nice clay Chinese style Yixing pot or similar, as a Chaozhou style as well. When you find that when the mineral composition of the clay is right and it's matched with the right kind of tea, they enhance each other, they bring out flavors, aromas tend to get stronger. It just feels like a better tea. But let's talk about this tea for a moment. This is from Norbu Tea. This is their MaoXie Hairy Crab Oolong Tea. It's from, packaging says, Anxi County, Fujian Province of China, Fall Harvest 2009. Norbu, by the way, is in Dallas. 250 grams. No, I'm sorry, that's not the right one. I almost gave you the wrong numbers here. Make sure I'm at the right place. 50 grams, rather. $3.85. That's our most recent check, which was today. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about this tea. 3 areas of tea tasting and experience: so the dry leaf, the wet leaf, and the liquor. This particular tea, as it was packaged and delivered to me, you had your outer package, which is a resealable bag. Inside was another package, which was vacuum sealed, so that when you cut it open and you release that vacuum, you're still able to kind of protect your tea in the zip closed bag here. First off, fragrant, quite pretty good floral type fragrant coming off of this. I mean, this is like a sweet pea flower kind of smell, English pea type smells from a springtime garden. That's what you're getting a bit. You're also getting some kind of hyacinth in there, so that's a nice blend, a very fragrant, sweet smelling blend. And you look at these leaves and you get some bright, again, the idea is green, it's vibrant. You're getting green here as well. You're getting some yellow green, and we're spilling some of our leaves, that's okay. I should say a green yellow, green easing over towards the yellowish edge here, like a pear green, a Bradford pear type of yellow green. You also have some kind of a blue green, and these are not all tightly wrapped into paper wad sphere type shapes, but they are all crinkled up. You're also seeing a little bit of some stem here, which says that this could have been a leaf pear type of harvest. We'll have to wait till it opens up to confirm that. So that gives us some clues about the fragrance, the shape, the color. This one, of course, this was what we said, a fall, if I remember correctly, a fall 09. Yeah, so this one, not too old, not a lot of age on it yet. Vacuum sealed as well, so that protected it pretty well. So that's a good, nice, fragrant green color leaf as well. So we're going to go ahead and close that up, try to seal it up well, preserve its freshness as long as possible. I try to keep a little bit of my teas off to the side, preserve them as well as possible, seal them up as best I can, and be able to come back to them and see after weeks, months, even a year maybe, what has changed. You know, that's why it's helpful to take notes and be able to learn from that, see if they can detect any differences from prior tastings. We're going to go down and look at our wet leaf, and of course to do that we've got a pour here. So that's Gaiwan style pouring. A little bit of skill here. One, like we said, you don't want your water up too high or you're going to scald your fingers. Two, you want to lean your lid over to the side. You want to have a good, fairly decent size opening, not enough to let the leaves come out, but not so little that you turn your Gaiwan over on its side as you pour, and the water tries to rush over the side, again, scalding your fingers. So, middle finger, thumb here on the rim. That's the coolest part. Index finger holding down the lid here, and there we go. That was nice and smooth. You see it's pouring easily. That means there's enough air coming out. You've got a big enough opening here. Voila. Well, there's probably a few little drops in there, so I'm going to get a better grip and give it a few shakes and get those last few potent drops out. Yeah, okay. Tea towel is always good to have, or something to catch any little drips. Now we're going to have a look at these leaves, talk about the wet leaf. Sweet pea has, in the wet leaf, has kind of transformed into a kind of a green lima bean, but a sweet, fragrant lima bean smell. Tinge of asparagus in there. Just a tinge of asparagus. But let's look at these leaves, because you know they were crinkled up pretty tightly. Most of these leaves have unfurled, which makes you wonder, okay, if they've already opened up, have they already given all they've got? Have they given up their ghost? Is there anything left for a second steeping? But let's go ahead and take out some of these leaves. We're not getting full-sized, complete leaves. We're getting portions of leaves, okay, which is, well, I have seen a lot more of the full, complete leaf than other teas. And even the leaf sections that we do have, they're shredded, they're chewed out, they're the clue here is, or we're getting the clue that this was a machine rolled, machine processed. So it didn't get the most gentle, delicate care, the most gentle TLC it could have gotten. The leaves, actually, yeah, you do get a few here that the edges of the leaves have a bit of a more reddish tinge, so that oxidation, that fermentation process did begin a little bit there. Here's a more complete leaf. Pretty, you see about two and a half, 3 inches leaf size there. I'm going to set this one also on there so that you can see that. It's a little bit denser, a little bit chewier, the full size. Maybe that's why it survived in a more full, complete size, while the more delicate, thinner ones did got a little bit rougher treatment. So, takes care of our leaves. They are a nice, rich emerald type of green color, but just not the most delicately treated, delicately handled. Going now to our liquor. I'm going to talk about that. Look at it. Nice, yeah, good greenish yellow color. So that that greenish is a positive on my checklist, because it really kind of indicates this was a fresher, more verdant tea. We're going to give it a good slurp here. Slurping allows the air to kind of travel up and you know, turn the tea into kind of a particulate, a mist that travels up into your nose, and you really draw out a lot from your sense of smell. Really tells you about this tea more than your taste buds and your tongue can. Body is it's smooth. It's not watery, but it's not heavy either, and that's characteristic of these type of more lightly oxidized oolongs. What else can I tell you here? The stringency level quite low. Still some of that hyacinth aroma, kind of a taste is coming to the foreground, especially more so now in the aftertaste. So that's there. In the actual taste, on the tongue, it does have a sweetness to it. Again, you're getting a tinge of that asparagus in there as well. Asparagus, hyacinth, and sweet pea. Those would be the three dominant. The astringency level, on par with others of this type of tea, this type of greener oolong. I would say even a tinge higher than some of the others in that same range of oxidation level. Body, as we said, smooth, silken, but still quite light. Aftertaste, again, sweet, hyacinth aspect to it. So overall, this tea pretty consistent as far as the aromas coming off the dry leaf. Your wet leaf and the hot water brought out a little bit of a lima bean, but again, coming back to that hyacinth, that sweet pea. Again, we talked about some asparagus notes through the process. A little bit higher astringency, not a lot higher, slightly higher than some of the others. So not really anything that just throws it off the category there. What else? The aftertaste, again, quite rewarding, quite pleasing in its sweetness and its floral aspect there as well. I'd like to have seen just a tinge of a thicker body, a more brothy, a little bit of a good thicker feel on the tongue there. But still, sweet, floral, something to enjoy, something to try out for yourselves. So we give this tea a 91. And would encourage you to look at this tea from Norbu. We've also, Jason Walker Tea Review has reviewed some other teas from Norbu, and we have some more upcoming. So continue to come back, check those out, see if Norbu may be one of your new preferred providers of tea, and join us again next time when we look at a tea company from eBay that can be found on eBay. This is their May Array, and we'll talk about that next time on Walker Tea Review.